We all know that feeling, right? Load shedding hits, the lights go out, your Wi-Fi dies, and your whole day is just thrown off. But for a city, these power cuts, they're way more than just an inconvenience. We're talking about a massive and growing financial threat that could honestly change everything.
So what is the real cost when the lights go out across an entire city? I mean, it's not just about losing a few hours of work, right? It's about a potential fiscal crisis that puts the very services we all depend on every single day at risk. So today we're going to dig into the city's fight to stay financially afloat in the dark.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to look at why this is now a strategic emergency, unpack the financial domino effect, see how it threatens essential services, check out the city's plan for resilience, and finally, touch on the wider ripple effect that hits all of us. Okay, first up, a strategic emergency. The way the city thinks about this crisis has completely changed. I mean, this isn't just some predictable annoyance to manage anymore. So get this, the situation is now officially being called a strategic flag with a high risk level. Think of that like the city's version of a DEFCON 1 alert. It's a threat so serious it demands an immediate, all-hands-on-deck response and actually forces them to rewrite their long-term plans. And the difference between then and now? It's honestly night and day. It used to be seen as, a manageable nuisance, an operational hiccup with predictable outages, but the reality today? It's a full-blown systemic threat. We're talking about the potential for stages 8, 9, even 10, and that requires a total rethink of the city's core strategy.
So that leads us right into our next section, the financial domino effect. Because once you declare something a strategic emergency, the money problems start to follow. This is where the energy crisis starts hitting the city right in the wallet.
And look, you don't have to take my word for it. A quote from the city's own assessment really says it all. It says this whole situation could drastically change its fiscal situation for the remainder of the current term of office. Wow, I mean, that's not just a small budget issue. That's a potential game changer. The financial stakes are incredibly high.
So you might be asking, how does that actually happen? Well, it's like a line of dominoes tipping over. First, you've got all this unbudgeted emergency spending, right? Think diesel for generators. Then, your everyday operational costs just go through the roof. And the real kicker? All that money has to come from somewhere, so funds get pulled from other important projects, putting a massive strain on everything.
And that financial strain leads us to the next big problem, defending essential services. Because when the money gets tight, the city has to make some really tough calls about protecting the absolute core functions that, keep society from grinding to a halt. And the city's priorities here are crystal clear. It's all about public health, water and sanitation. That's a whopping 80% of their focus right there. Waste removal gets the other 20%. These are the services they absolutely cannot let fail. They're non-negotiable.
And let's be real for a second about what failure looks like here, because it's pretty grim. We're talking about sewage spills on beaches, the real possibility of citywide water restrictions, and even the pumps that move water from the dams to your house failing. That's what's really on the line.
Okay, so faced with this huge challenge, what's the plan? What is the city actually doing about it? Well, that brings us to their plan for resilience. It's all about having a proactive strategy to handle these worst-case scenarios.
At the heart of their strategy is something called Business Continuity Management, or BCM for short. The easiest way to think about it? It's basically a playbook for chaos. It's a formal plan to make sure those essential functions, water, sanitation, keep on running no matter how crazy things get.
And this whole BCM plan breaks down into 3 main steps. First, they assess. They look at every single city department and figure out the full financial hit. Second, they support. They actually help those departments build their own plans for when things go wrong. And third, they navigate. This is the hard part, making those tough trade-offs to guarantee the most critical services stay online.
But here's the thing. This isn't just some abstract story about city budgets and planning meetings. And that brings us to our final point, the wider ripple effect. This is all about how this crisis doesn't stay inside City Hall. It flows right out into our neighborhoods, our homes, and our daily lives.
You see, load shedding doesn't happen in a bubble. It puts huge financial pressure on all of us, on households just trying to get by. It means your security system might fail because the battery finally gives out. All of these things add up, creating very real public safety risks, especially during long blackouts. It's all connected.
And that's really the key takeaway here. The bottom line is, this isn't just the city's problem to fix. It's a whole-of-society problem. The financial stress on the city, the danger to our essential services,
And the risks we all face at home, they're all tangled together. And solving it is going to take a unified strategic response from everyone.
Which kind of leaves us with one big final question to think about. In an age filled with one crisis after another, what does a truly resilient city even look like? Is it really just about keeping the lights on? Or is it something more? Is it about building a system that can take these hits, protect the people who need it most, and actually adapt to a future that, let's face it, is looking more and more uncertain?